Well, hello, my beautiful Jimmies. How are you, my gorgeous ones? So, I am going to do this a little differently. As you can tell, there's probably not going to be an intro or an outro. I needed to get these out, and I started getting caught up in the aesthetics of it all. And then I was like, it's not about you, it's about them. Just get them the information out. So this is a little different. Bear with me. But I thought it was necessary to show you guys what I'm looking at and how to read a chart. I'm just kind of giving you the fundamentals so that you can see, and especially gems are very visual, so you can see what's going on and how I sort of see things, and maybe it'll kind of come together for you guys. So I will try my best not to cough during this. Still getting over the bronchitis. And I have to drink my coffee because it's early in the morning. So, welcome, all you new ones. This is my name is Cindy. um, I went silent for a second. They're coming in. Welcome, everyone. My name is Cindy. I am the modern day spiritual advisor. I use multiple modalities, including tarot, astrology, mediumship, Reiki, prana, healing, all kinds of stuff to help you on your path. So, we're going to talk about this solar eclipse that's going on. We've had the lunar eclipse. The lunar eclipse was in Leo. That was about, and it had the full moon. So, that was about endings. But we still have that energy going on for the next 3 months, especially in the next 45 days. And then we have the solar eclipse. And the solar eclipse with the new moon is about new beginnings. It's about re-energizing. It's about reinventing, uh, rejuvenation, right? That's that burst of energy to go into that new direction. Or maybe you started going in a new direction, and this is kind of going to bring that back up in those areas of your life. Now, I am going to put the link to the full moon steps to take and the new moon steps to take to manifest, and I'll have all the links down below. And if you can remember what you were doing about 6 months ago, these things are going to be prominent again. So if you had begun something 6 months ago, like in the summertime, I'm going to put that video down below as well. But if you begin that, or it should be on the side here, when this ends. If you had begun something and then continued to work on it and it hasn't finished yet or hadn't come through, or um, you kind of were working on it and then you had to put it away and then you're working on it, like that's going to become prominent again. Okay, so let's talk about this solar eclipse in Aquarius. So it's going to be in Aquarius on the at 27 degrees. Now, if you look, this is Aquarius. Here's the sun and the moon, and here's where it's going to eclipse. See that? But we have Mercury there, and we have Venus, and we have Neptune. And so all of these are what we call, they're conjunct. So conjunct means that they're having a conversation, they're speaking to each other, but these are planets that are having a conversation that are getting along, and so that energy is there to help you. That energy is there to help you move forward, help you learn in this house, help you grow in your experiences with your soul that you wanted to do, with those experiences that you came here to do, right? So the solar eclipse, though, is about, remember what I said about eclipses, it sort of eclipse that last energy and takes you to 0 point energy. This is a partial, so it's going to take you almost to 0 point energy, but 0 point energy has a lot of energy in it. And so what you can do in this energy is sort of gives you that boost, or that lunge forward. You can think of it that way, okay? And with the new moon, it's going to sort of give this new moon energy. The eclipse is going to intensify the new moon so that you're feeling it, and these things are going to be happening for the next 6 months. And some of you for a year. It just kind of depends on your path. Okay, it depends on your chart and how you have that. And by the way, if you guys want me to go over your chart with you, if you want a reading, my link to my website will be down below as well. So, like I said, the new moon is about new beginnings, rejuvenating energy, revitalizing. It's about creating, it's about gains, and it's about abundance. It's about you getting the things that you're trying to get or have been working on. Okay? So, when I look at the when I look at your chart, I'm looking at you here. Sorry, I'm not used to this cursor. So you here, Gemini, and then I'll look to see where Aquarius is. So it's going to be happening if you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it's going to be happening at 27 degrees in your ninth house. And 27 degrees is a really good degrees. It's like sort of the higher vibration or the finer vibration or the more evolved vibration of that house and those planets, right? Because we have octaves, what they call octaves in astrology. In tarot and spirituality, they call it all different things, but that's kind of basically what it is. Are you going to take the lower octave, or are you going to be in the higher octave? And 27 degrees is sort of the higher octave, right? Because it's almost at 30 degrees. We have 30 degrees in each house, okay? So, but the thing is, with this eclipse here, you have Mercury that's conjunct to it. So Mercury is sort of talking to it, and Mercury is the planet of communication, but it more so it's the planet of processing. So these things that weren't being clear to you about 6 months ago that you started and then you maybe had to stop, or maybe you kept going because you're stubborn, Gemini. Once you get onto something, you're like, you don't stop, right? So maybe this thing that you were like, no, it's got to break through and I'm not going to stop. And maybe that was happening for some of you. But some of you may have said the opposite, because if you can't get all in it, then you'll just deny it, right? I know, because my son is Gemini. So maybe it wasn't going your way, you got frustrated, and you were like, I'm not doing that right now, right? Well, this planet, Mercury, is going to help this energy. It's going to help you process, get clear, and it's going to help move things along, okay? And then you have Venus over here. And Venus is also, it's so 28, 27, 28, 29, 30. Yeah, it's right at, it's still conjunct, because I do 8 to 10 degrees conjunct. So I like 8 degrees, but 10 degrees is still there. So that means when there's 10 degrees between two planets, right? That means that they're conjunct. They're still speaking to each other. So this Venus, you could be talking about beautification. You could be talking about aesthetics. We could be talking about if you're wanting, you know, something better in your home, if you're wanting to redo your home. And it could be talking about your love life as well, right? I know it's in your 12th house, which makes me think it could be your love life too. This could be like a karmic thing. This could be like a lover coming in, or a partner coming in. It just kind of depends with your 12th house, because your 12th house has to do with your past lives, or if you don't want to think of past lives, it has to do with the experiences that you wanted to have when you came here to Earth at this time. Okay, so all of these are sort of talking to each other, and Neptune and Venus are talking to each other in your 12th house. But all of these are talking to each other, and they're going to help you progress forward. These three, especially in your ninth house. Okay. So I hope that's not too much information at one time. I don't want to confuse you, but I want you to get very clear. So the ninth house. What is the ninth house about? Well, before I talk about the ninth house, let's talk about Aquarius. So Aquarius, my lovely Aquarians. Aquarians have this gift of bringing all things and everyone together, right? So they give people what they want and need, right? They're connecting to everyone. They allow everyone to grow. That's what they do. They listen to everyone, and they sort of guide them in the right direction and sort of allow everyone to grow. They like the bigger group. They're humanitarians, right? So Aquarians are like sociable and sweet, extremely intelligent. They're generous, creative. They're very personable. They speak the truth when they speak. This is the thing about Aquarians. They're not going to speak if they're not going to speak the truth, right? So this is, if you ask an Aquarian a question, he's going to tell you the truth, or she's going to tell you the truth. Otherwise, they just won't say anything. So they're really old souls. They're very eccentric, quirky. So in this ninth house, you might find, and you don't have a problem with this now, but you might find a bigger expansion of this, your belief system. You may see like a different way, or a way that's not like society, or a way that's kind of eccentric or quirky, right? They like being different, and they will test. So looks like you might be testing in this house. But also, they're very futuristic. So Aquarians, like they can go in and they see things probably 150 years ahead of us, right? So they have futuristic beliefs. Now, this being in your belief house, you may see some of that. You may like get clarity about something that you're trying to do. Maybe it's in your business, or maybe it's in the way that you're going to have a partner. Maybe it's in the way that you're dealing with your family. That's very futuristic, very quirky, very different. Okay, so they love science and technology, so that could be going on there as well. And their spirituality is the only name I know to give this, but um, it's more than spiritual. So they're spiritual, but it's more than that. It's beyond spirituality. Okay? So, and they have compassion and empathy and love on the whole. That means the whole of the group. Okay? Now, that's a finer, higher octave aqua. That's a finer, higher octave aqua, but you have a whole house here. So, you could be talking about a young aqua or a lesser evolved aqua. And a lesser evolved aqua can be heartless and cynical and cold and detached and distant and moody. They have a fear of intimacy and attachment. So you could be dealing with that, right? Um, Now, your belief system, that has to do with Aquarius. So let's talk about you, Gems. Your ninth house, it being in your ninth house has to do with your belief system. It has to do with higher learning. So if you were thinking about higher learning and higher education, if you were trying to do this like 6 months ago, maybe you wanted to do a trade, maybe you wanted to get more, and you Gems are really good at this. Maybe you wanted to get more information, maybe you wanted to take some classes, maybe you wanted to go back to college, maybe you wanted to go to college. Um, you could be focusing on that at this time, and this is for three, especially for the next 3 months, because we still have the energy of the lunar eclipse and the full moon, and that means endings of things so that new things can come in, right? So as you're ending in that lunar eclipse, which is your Leo, you're beginning in your Aquarius. Okay, makes sense. You're ending in this area of your life. You got some endings, you had some abundance coming, you have some abundance coming, you have some things that you finished up, especially with this north node here. The north node is all about you becoming obsessed about something in this house and trying to learn it, and then getting it complete so that you can have the abundance in it. Okay, so as you're letting go of this, you're making room for more of this. Okay, so I've explained this before, but I'll explain it again for those of you that have never seen me. We only, in our physical form, in our higher self, in our spiritual self, in our energetic self, we can have unlimited amounts of energy run through us. But in our physical self here on this earth, with the laws of the universe, we only have so much energy that we can run through us in the physical form, right? So that has to do with the cars and your house and your relationships and your family and the things around you and the things that you love, and that's all energy running through you. Money, finances, all of that, situations, relationships, all of that is energy running through you. And if you've kept or held on to energy that no longer serves you, by past trauma, I mean, it's no fault of your own, and you grow as you need to, but by past trauma, or maybe really hating somebody and not letting go of that, or not letting go of the fact that people did such and such to you, or maybe there's an old car that you need to get rid of, or maybe there's an old house that you need to get. I mean, it's just a lot of different energies that you could be holding on to. Okay, if you're holding on to that and you only have so much energy that can run through you, then you don't have room for your abundance. And so that's why this is important, for you to let go, for you to let go. Now, I'm not talking about, because Geminis are really good at not focusing on something because you live in the now. So you could say, well, that's not there, but it might be. It could be tucked away deep, deep in your heart, or deep, deep in your chakra, or deep, deep, somewhere. And just because you haven't focused on it, or just because you're not aware of it, doesn't mean you haven't held on to it. Okay? So that's why we have these things going on in the planets. It's like Spirit's way, God's way, whoever you want to call it to. It's like their way of you checking in with yourself so that you can let go of that energy, so that you can bring in abundance, so that you can bring in those things that you're wanting, those things that you've been praying to about and asking for, right? It's going to give you room in there. So that's what you're dealing with in the next 3 months. Okay? So the also in this house, this is where your teachers or your gurus or your mentors, you could be finding one, or you could be one, but usually you find one in this house, and you don't like look for it, they come to you. So if you're really wanting to learn something, if you're really wanting to grow in some area with your belief system, a teacher could appear, right? Like all of a sudden somebody knows somebody and you meet them and they're this person that you're wanting in your life. That could be happening in the next 3 months. Okay? The other thing too that this ninth house has to do with is your father, or your father figure. So that could be very highlighted in your life. And this could be about past trauma, or this could be about maybe you've gotten over the trauma, but now you're building your relationship with your fathers, right? Your father figure, or somebody that really meant something to you in your life. You could be building that in the next 3 months. That could be coming forth. This house, when you've worked in it and as you've grown in it, you'll learn a broader perspective in your belief system. Like what you thought was one thing, you'll understand and come to an understanding. Like, yes, you weren't wrong. It was that one thing, but it's so much more. Okay? And that's what you're going to be working on. Now, in your seventh house, I'll go over that very quickly. But before I say that, remember, you're going to be dealing with this in an Aquarian-like energy. Okay? So that means futuristic. That means quirky. That means out of the box, not the norm. And so your belief systems can become that, right? Which you're okay with because you're kind of quirky anyway, right? But it's like a bigger, broader perspective that you'll be doing in this next 3 months, right? Now, your 12th house is activated because it's got Neptune and Venus, okay? And it's got Chiron. So Chiron is that energy, or that plant, or that asteroid that has to do with being at the wrong place at the wrong time, right? Like there's nothing you can do about this. It just happened. Okay? And also that's your 12th house too. So it looks to me like if I'm looking at your 12th house, I'm sorry, this is not your 12th house. I apologize. This is your 10th house. I was just thinking of Pisces. Pardon me. I apologize. This is not your 12th house. This is your 10th house. Excuse me. So, 9th house, 10th house. This has to do with your persona. This has to do with your status in life. This has to do with your businesses, the way that you see, the way that you're introduced into the world, the way that the world sees you, the status that you have on this earth, right? And so with Venus and Neptune in there, it looks like you're going to be doing something very beautiful, but I kind of feel like it's out of the ordinary. Like I don't feel like it's because these things are so close. So it's very beautiful. It's taking you to the next step. In fact, this could be an area, especially with Pisces in there and you've got Neptune and Venus. This could be a place where everybody sees you very beautiful. Like you cannot go wrong. You can be wearing, I mean, I don't know that you guys do this anymore, but back in the day, you can be wearing rollers and hairpins and be in your sweatpants and you'll still be beautiful to the world. Like that's that kind of energy that's going on in your 10th house. But Chiron is still there and they're not talking to each other yet because they're still far away from each other. But Chiron has to do with being at the wrong place at the wrong time. So, or being at the right place. Let me say that too. Being at the right place at the right time as well, right? It's more about being at the wrong place at the wrong time, but it can be being at the right place at the right time, which means it doesn't matter what you do, it was meant to be. It was part of your past so that you grew and understand. And this has to do with your status, your persona, what's going on, okay? So, the one other thing that I want to talk about is your eighth house. And your eighth house has to do with other people's money, debt, finances, your power. Okay, this is your power. This is about detective work because it's ruled by Scorpio. So this is like things that were being hidden or weren't coming to light, or you weren't very clear about it. This could be opening up, or you could be dealing with this in the next year, okay? Because you have Saturn here and you have Pluto. Pluto is all about transformation. This eighth house is all about transformation. That's what the eighth house is. Saturn is about hard work. Saturn is that planet. It's like the last visible planet. So you can think of it as, I see it. That's my dream. That's my goal. And I see it, but it's so far away and I got to stretch to get it, which means I have to work at it and work at it and don't take my eyes off it and stay focused on it. That's Saturn, and that's Capricorn. So Saturn and Capricorn are working really well in this house together. But as Saturn moves closer, and I mean Pluto's going to move too a little bit, but as Saturn moves closer, there's going to be transformation in this house. So maybe in the next year or more, this is about relieving some of your debt. This is about your finances finally becoming really stable. This is about transformation that you have been working on for such a long time. Okay, Capricorn is going to give you the energy, and so is Saturn. And Pluto is going to help you transform this. Okay, so that's your eighth house. Your seventh house has Mars in it. So your seventh house is Sagittarius. I won't go over all the houses, but I do want to just mention the ones with the major planets in them. So Mars is that God of War planet. It's that one that, I mean, Gemini, when we get angry and they flip us. When they flip us, and then when we flip back, we're like, ooh, we probably shouldn't have done that. Yeah, that's Mars. Okay. Okay. So Mars is going to give you that energy. So you can channel it. You can channel that energy in your seventh house. Seventh house, remember, is about relationships and boundaries, but you won't know what it is that you're wanting or needing in a relationship, or you won't know the boundary until it comes to you. Okay. So they have to come face you. It's like mirroring. So with Mars being in here and Sag being in here, Sag has a lot of integrity, a lot of unknown becoming known, a lot of that broader perspective, that ninth house stuff, because it's ruled by Sag. So in the seventh house, you can channel that energy with finally knowing how to put your boundaries down without overstepping boundaries. Does that make sense? So that's kind of what I'm feeling for you, Gems. Is you getting better about putting boundaries down, even when you're in a relationship, or even like all types of relationships, friendships, love relationships, family, like really putting those boundaries down and sticking to them. That's going to be Mars and Sagittarius working together. But also, this happens to some people. If it's on your path and it's time for you, Mars being in your seventh house as Jupiter's coming closer, we could be talking about, even without Jupiter, you could be talking about if you're a female or female energy and you're wanting a sort of more male energy, this could be a relationship coming in for you. Okay. That tells me that as well. But I like to look at when Jupiter gets closer, that because Jupiter wants you to expand and grow and it's the guru, that's when we have relationships as it gets closer. Okay. So speaking of, Jupiter right now is in Scorpio. We've talked about this. I've made videos about this. It's in your sixth house. So your sixth house is about, pardon that, I'm so sorry. Your sixth house is about your daily routine and your health. So this has to do with your belief systems, your dreams that you're working on, the debt that you're trying to clear, the stability you're trying to have, all in the sixth house, bringing it to your daily activities where you work, your health, the things that you do every day. The guru is trying to teach you how to sort of balance that and bring that all together to your daily life so that you work better, so that you work in balance, so that you're not overworked, work too much. Because what can happen in this house is that you can become a victim. It's a self victimization. Like, I work so much and I do and I always do for my friends and I always do for everybody, and when I need something nobody ever does for me, right? That can be like that lower octave or that thing that you're trying to learn in this house, okay? When you come to understand that nobody asked you to do it, nobody said to go do that, nobody made you help them, you did it because you want to, and you should do it and not expect anything in return, or don't do it, right? Maybe you did it because your parents told you when you were young you had to do it, but then you're an adult now and you can make your own choices and say, no, there's got to be a limit and I can't do everything. I can't say yes to everyone, right? That's what you're learning in this house. So that's all I'm going to go over with that. I'm going to expand this, your tarot spread, and then I just took a picture of it and I'll expand it and go over the each of the cards. Okay, so I hope that helps. I'm sending you guys lots of love and light in this area. Let me see if I can. Hold on just a second. Bear with me. Put this over here. Okay. All right. So here is your spread for the next 3 months. In your first position, we have the Nine of Wands. So the Nine of Wands is about you sticking to your ground. It's about you coming to an understanding of this is kind of where I'm heading. This is where I want to be. And right now, I just need to sort of gather myself, rest maybe, and rethink and sort of check in and make sure that I'm headed in the right direction. That's kind of where you're at right now. Because where you came from was this, I don't know that you can, this, the cursor doesn't work in this black. So where you came from was that, that Seven of Wands where you were fighting and standing for your ground. So this is all about where you're at in your right now, where your position right now is, I've worked a lot, I've come a long way, but I'm sort of just gathering myself to make sure that I'm still headed in the right direction. I'm sort of checking in with myself. Maybe I'm having a good time where I'm at. Maybe I don't want to leave yet. Maybe I'm just sort of checking things out, right? So what's crossing you is that Magician up there. I didn't put it across because I wanted you guys to see it. So now, if you've never seen me, I'm talking about love, and love to me is that energy that moves through all vibrations. So it depends on where your focus has been. That's what I'm talking about. And it could be more than one thing. We could be talking about your romance, or your life in general, or your finances, or your family, or your friends, or yourself, right? Depends on what you're working on. That's what I'm talking about. So what's crossing you, this is Spirit's advice. This is the Magician. So they want to remind you, because I can see what you did over here with the Hanging Man and then the Eight of Swords. They want to remind you that you do have it within you, all of it. You have the knowledge, you have the power, you have the clarity, you have it within you to make these things happen in your life. You have it within you to have stability and abundance. You have it within you to smile and be happy and laugh again. You have that within you. They want to remind you to pull from your tools, pull from your experiences, pull from that, and they'll help you. That's what they're there for. They will help bring those forth to you. They will help you know where to go next. They will help you see the clarity and see the way so that you can have those things that you're wanting, right? In love, in life, okay? So that's their advice in this situation. Now, again, where I said what you came from was the Seven of Wands. The Seven of Wands is all about taking a stand. This is what I'm doing. If I got to fight everybody, this is what I'm going to do, because I am sticking to my ground, because I already know what I want in my life. I already know what I know to be true, and I'm not going to move from this position. I'm going to fight for what I want. Like, you gems have come a long way, and it's time, and you had been fighting for what you wanted. So you're now here where you're sort of checking in with yourself. You're now in this first position. That's what brought you here. And they want to remind you that you still have all the tools. Glean from your experiences. Glean from the people around you. You don't have to do it alone, Gem. You don't. But it's kind of up to you if you want to or not, but you don't have to. Okay? Now, in your fourth position is this Queen of Wands. So, sorry for the glare, but the Queen of Wands is this beautiful, beautiful queen. I love this queen when I'm trying to get something done, okay? Because this queen knows how to get it done. She does not fail at anything. So, in your fourth position, to me, that's from now to a month, okay? So, this queen is about being driven, being ambitious, but not stepping over people's toes, right? Knowing how to gracefully do this, getting what she wants, not stopping until she gets it. Now, she does have a little fault where she doesn't like the details of stuff, but you're a gem, so you can do the details. So, she likes the broader picture. You know, she doesn't have time for the smaller, like, detailed stuff. She wants to, but she's good at delegating, so she can delegate, right, and still get it done. So I feel like for some of you, this is going to be your energy in this next month. Very driven, very passionate. Right now you're resting, but you still have wands. So these are all your experiences. But I feel like you're going to sort of bring on that energy of and the qualities of that Queen of Wands. Very driven, not going to take no for an answer, doing it in a very graceful way, but getting it done. That's for some of you. For others of you, I feel like you do have somebody coming into your life. This person you're going to be passionate about. They're going to be very, if it's about love and romance, you're going to be very attracted to them. But they're going to make you laugh. That's what I'm seeing. Okay? Now, if it's a business partner or if it's somebody coming to help you financially, this person also is lighter. It's like you feed off of each other, right? Air and fire, because she's fire, you're air. Air and fire, you feed off of those elements. And if you think about what air does to fire, it just blows it up, right? So it can be that kind of explosive, great energy to get things done, to be very driven and passionate. It'll sort of put you into that, okay? That's what I see going on in this next month. Now, above the Nine of Wands is the fifth position. That's from your higher self. So I always ask your higher self, what is the one message they want to bring through to help you move forward in love? And I see this very clearly. You have the Two of Wands, which means don't get stuck in that middle where you're not making a decision about something. And we do it very differently than other signs do it. You will do it because you don't want to miss out on something. You're like, well, if I do this, what's going to happen with this? And what's going to happen with that? And so you'll sort of stay in the middle. Or sometimes you'll stay in the middle because you don't want to hurt somebody, right? And so you just won't do anything, right? And they're saying, be sure to take the actions and not stay in the middle. Be sure to go left or go right. Make a decision and take the action and do it, okay? Because remember, with this card, they also say, even if you go left, doesn't mean you can't have the right later. It just means we need you to pick right now so that energy can start coming in. So with these things that are going to be going on, with the situations that you have going, be sure not to stay in the middle. Be sure to take the action. Be sure to be decisive. It also makes you feel better, Gem, because as a gem, I know what it feels like if I'm in the middle. It does not feel good, and we get really, really anxious. So don't do that. Just make the decision. You can always change it later if you want, but make the decision and take the action. But I see, my little Jimmies, in your sixth position that you don't. Some of you don't. That's why they said that in the fifth position. So in the sixth position for month 2 and 3, you have the Hanging Man. So I see that you're doing some self-sacrificing. I see that you're doing some, like, I don't want to make a decision about that, or I don't want to hurt that person, or should I really keep that person out of my life, or should I let them back in? Like, or should I let that person in my life? Like, either way, I'm seeing it both ways. So, because we have lots of people on this channel, so, or lots of Jimmys on this channel too. So, this month 2 and 3, this hanging man is about you putting yourself in that position, not about the universe and not about somebody else. It's about you putting yourself in that position. You see how he's on his tippy toes, and he can get out of that position at any time. He's holding the light. He's even being held by something. He's being held by light. So you can get out of that position. And that's the way I see it, one way. Another way is that I see that you are not being your true self, and you're allowing people to go over your boundaries again in the month 2 and 3. So be careful, Jimmies. Remember, this is about you learning in those houses to stick to your boundaries. Learn where your boundaries are, learn to stick to them and practice in them, because people will take advantage, and then you say, well, they took advantage. Well, because you allowed it, right? So that's going to be happening in month 2 and 3. You can turn this card around. You can get out of this position at any time. Make the decision. That's what they're saying up here in your 5th position. Make the decision and you won't stay in this, okay? Now, in your 7th position, this has to do with your fear. So, your fear is the 5 of coins. And the 5 of coins is about being desperate and coming from a needing place and coming from desperation and coming from not being abundant, right? And so I see that your fear is, will I always be this? Will that always happen? Will I always like get to this place and then I go down? And I only get to this place and then I go down. And I'm always needing, and I'm always like, where is the abundance? And I've worked so hard and I've worked so hard, and I'm coming from a place. And if it doesn't have to do with money, then it has to do with relationships, and they take from me, and then I'm drained, and then I don't have anything, and then I'm in that space again, right? I feel like that's your fear. So remember, a fear is it's there to remind you of what you want and what you don't want. You know you don't want that, and you know you've experienced that. You know that you've become the master at that. So use that as a leaping off point, right? It's like your duality. I see you over there, fear. I know I don't want that. So I'm going to come over here and do this. I'm going to come over here and focus on this. My energy is going to be in this, right? That's how you deal with fear. It's just there because we live in this world of duality to remind you of what you don't want. So focus on what you want, okay? Now, in your 8th position, this is the way a loved one will be viewing you, or this is the universe talking to you, or God, or spirit, whoever you call to. You have the 3 of Wands. So I'm seeing Saturn in this. So Saturn is that ship that's like, you're sitting there waiting. You have these wands. You're ready to go. You've had your experiences. You're learning. You want new experiences. You see it coming. It's kind of far away. And you're like, I'll just kind of wait. And Spirit is saying, you need to lean and leap for it. And then it will come to you as well. It's a symbiotic energy relationship. We'll say that. It's like a symbiotic relationship, that dream of yours, those goals of yours. Like, you need to stretch towards it, and those goals will stretch towards you. It's both. It's a back and forth. So instead of sitting on that bank or that pier waiting, or that rock, waiting for this ship to come in, lean into it. Take some actions, make some decisions, and I promise it's going to be on its way as well as you leaning into it, and you'll get to it faster. That's Saturn, okay? So a loved one, or a new loved one, or a new guy or new girl, they may be thinking the same thing, that you're being too nonchalant. Like, they need you to take some action. They need you to like lean into them. They need you to like give them some energy. Tell them how you feel. Tell them what you want. Be in the now with them, right? So I see that in those couple of ways. Now, in your 9th position, I saw this for your businesses as well. I see this for your business as well. Lean into it. Take some action. Do some things. Like, your businesses are waiting. That ultimate thing over there, that goal is waiting for you. But it's not waiting. It's moving so that you can lean in and it can lean in as well. Okay? So in your 9th position, this is your hopes and dreams, but to me, this position is about the energy that you've called in and is moving towards you into your reality, into your physical realm. Okay? So you have the Ace of Cups. And the Ace of Cups is all about beautiful new beginnings, all about um, filling those cups, coming together with someone or something and filling that cup, emotionally being fulfilled. And it's a new beginning of that. So I see that coming towards you, and you can bring that in at any time in the next 3 months. That's kind of up to you and your energy about making these decisions in your sixth position, and then what we're going to talk about in your 10th position. So, your 10th position is your overall outcome and what you'll be working through in these next 3 months. Okay. Remember, as we release in Leo, we're going to gain in Aquarius. Okay. As we grow from an understanding in Leo and release, we're going to gain some more abundance in that Aquarius belief, which gains in our physical realm. Okay. So that 10th position is about is the Eight of Swords, which is all about you thinking that you're in this bubble and you thinking that you're so overwhelmed because you've got too many things going on and they're all going to like, it's just too much. But if you take and start doing one thing at a time, take an action towards one thing, just look at the one thing, take action towards that, and either finish that out or move to the next thing. Finish that first one and then do the second one and then do the second one. But don't think you're only limiting yourself by your own belief. And maybe that's why this solar eclipse is happening in your eighth or ninth house of belief system. Because maybe you need to come to a bigger understanding and a bigger belief about yourself. Not just about the universe and not just about people around you, not just about relationships, but about yourself and trusting yourself and understanding you are a powerful, powerful being. Okay? So don't get caught up in limiting yourself in this bubble, right? Thinking if I make a move, I could be hurt and then the fear overtakes me. No. You've gotten this far, Gem. You've done things no other people have done. And maybe a lot of people will never know about it because you're very quiet about it. But you have done things that are out of this world, that are beyond what normal people can do. Okay? You just, because you don't talk about it and people don't know, you don't realize that you're not in a bubble. You're sort of past and more evolved. Okay? So don't limit yourself. All right, my gorgeous ones. I hope you liked this format. It's a very different format. Remember that all of the links to the videos and to my website is down below. I love you, love you, love you. I'm sending you lots of love and light. Please be sure to subscribe if you like what you see. Bye.